itch on the top of her back that she couldn't scratch. Once she and her siblings had reached an age where they could learn to understand the noises the humans made, their dad had told them the story of how he had met his human, Bethany Ann. Their mom's human had mentioned how the people of Earth bought and sold animals without regard for the animals' feelings or desires. All 5 of the puppies decided that they didn't think that sort of thing was in their best interest. They informed Yelena they would choose their own companion person. After all, it was family tradition. Asher had chosen, way back when, to help Bethany Ann fight the stinky-like-death but not dead creatures, and to share her life afterwards. Jinx sighed again, wondering if something was wrong with her. 3 of her siblings had already found their companions. Matrix and Snow had even chosen aliens to pair up with. Jinx didn't think she would be happy pairing with an alien. She secretly didn't know how Snow put up with the smell of Kelvin, because all the beings called Yolans had a slightly bitter odor to Jinx's nose. She was just contemplating heading to bed for a nap when she heard the door to their den open. She snorted at the thought. It wasn't a den, but she had learned that others of the canine genus on Earth lived in dens, so that's how she thought of Yelena's apartment. A sharp bark, followed by a higher-pitched bark, announced the arrival of her dad, coming to visit her mom. Here, Anne forwarded her chemistry test results to her mother's tablet. I knew I was going to get yelled at again, so do you blame me for not being in a hurry to get home? Anne flinched and took a step backwards at the look of anger that crossed her mother's face. Go to your room now! Her mother spat the words one at a time. Anne spun silently on her toes and headed for her room, her mother's voice following her down the short hallway. With that attitude, you can go without supper, too. It'll give you time to think about your behavior. Anne sighed to herself, being very careful not to let anything show in her posture as she turned to enter her bedroom. Just yesterday, she hadn't felt well enough to want to eat supper, yet her mother had forced her to sit and eat at the family table. Her mother, as usual, hadn't noticed her being sick an hour later when the unwanted meal refused to remain in her stomach. Not wanting to risk getting into more trouble, she followed the rules and left her bedroom door open behind her as she headed for her desk. She couldn't risk lying on her bed right now, because if she happened to fall asleep when she was supposed to be studying, it was just going to make matters that much worse. Anne settled into the chair and pulled out her tablet in an attempt to complete the history assignment that was due in 2 days. She was doing her best to get through it, making sure to look focused so that when her mother came by to check on her, she wouldn't be subjected to further disciplinary actions. Jinx got up and made her way into the main room to find Asher and Bellatrix rubbing noses.
Oh, gross. What does it humans say? Get a room, you two.
Lighten up, Jinx, Yelena laughed as she entered the room from the kitchen. If we're comparing dogs to humans, that's the equivalent of a hello kiss, not some sort of make-out session. Asher took the time to rub his cheek against Bellatrix, then turned to his daughter. You seem to be in a bad mood today. What is wrong? Jinx sat and looked at Yelena, Bellatrix, and Asher.
Humans call it feeling sorry for yourself. Everyone except Dio and me has found their partners. Heck, Matrix and Snow have partnered with aliens. One of them is a being who lives in your person's head, Jinx replied, looking at Asher. I wonder if something is wrong with me that I can't find someone I feel right about. Jinx's head drooped a little as she expressed one of her fears.
Well, you won't find someone if you sit in here all day, Asher told her with a faint growl. Let's go for a walk and we can talk over ideas to help you meet more people. Are you guys good, or do you need me for anything? Yelena asked the assembled canines. After a moment, the dogs told her that they would be fine without Yelena's presence. Yelena smiled and announced she was going to go see what kind of trouble Bobcat was getting into. All the canines had become accustomed to certain human behaviors. Take human smiles, for instance. They had needed to learn that the showing of teeth was not a sign of aggression. They just shook their heads when Yelena disappeared into her bedroom, muttering about needing to change into something nicer. Bellatrix, Asher, and Jinx left the apartment. As they headed for the tram station, Jinx was